friends and family. It is 5:29 a.m. and I want to can today. We're having some chilly weather, but more to come. Please excuse me, I am in my pajamas. I am in my glasses because I haven't put my contacts in. So what are we making? We are going to be making something from the Amish canning cookbook. And I will leave links to everything I can, y'all, as I always do, in the description box. And let me just say something. I know being an Amazon affiliate for some is a little bit controversial. If you click on the link, I receive such a small compensation. I mean, if you purchase, not if you click. But I do appreciate it. So if I'm sharing something that you would like to have, because I do get questions about items if I don't link them, feel free to use my link below. If not, no worries. All right. So we are going to be making south of the border chicken soup. Now, y'all may be wondering, and it is on page 197. Y'all may be wondering why, the week of Christmas, I might be wondering too. Why am I going to can? Well, it is cold and flu season, and several of my friends and family have come down with the ick, and for me, there's nothing more comforting than some chicken soup, and I will be using some bone broth, and I think it is very nourishing. Also, I want to give a shout out to my Young Living upline, Miss Nancy. I'm praying for you. She took a fall and has, I think, a fractured shoulder. I'm not sure of the extent of her injuries, and I want to take her a couple meals. So this will be great for that as well. I also want to say a big thank you to my neighbor. Y'all, look at this beautiful cup. It is well, I've slopped on it, but it's the 12 Days of Christmas mug, but it's made from the English Mug Company. It is just lovely, and I've been using it every day. And I think it's so elegant, I may use it year-round. I'm having some good hot coffee because hard to get the day started without it. So, the first thing you're going to need is some boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Now, I have the ones from Butcher Box, and they're still slightly frozen, y'all. Not always real prepared. There's usually 2 or 1 huge chicken breast in here. So what I'm gonna do, and y'all look how big that is, I'm gonna open these up and I'm gonna put them into a big pot. That, my friends, is 1. It's huge. I think this one might be 2. At any rate, it's plenty of chicken. But what you need is cooked chicken shredded. So if you don't cook your own chicken, you could use rotisserie chickens, but any sort of cooked chicken will do. Now that is the biggest chicken ever. No, it's not. It's actually, yeah. Houston, we have 2 breasts. So I'm gonna put that in there. Y'all let me wash my hands and I'll come back. All right, so the recipe calls for 12 cups of chicken broth. I'm actually going to use 8 cups of chicken broth and 4 cups of my home canned onion broth that I canned back in July of this year. And what I'm going to do with my chicken breast, I could have cooked them in the crock pot if I was more prepared. There's that. I'm going to poach them, if you will, in this delicious onion broth. And as you see, there was a lot of turmeric in there, so I'll give this a little rinse, because that will add a lot of spice and flavor. Now, I'm going to do my best not to make this blow it up hot, because I will be gifting some of it. I can always add additional spice when I'm serving. So let's put this on high. And what I'm using here, y'all, I've had this forever. I believe I purchased it at Walmart. It's a Paladine stock pot. I absolutely love it. It is enamel coated, probably aluminum or stainless. I think it's stainless. I don't think it's aluminum. So I'm gonna watch this till it comes up to a boil. I will turn it down to a simmer. I'm gonna let it cook while I get my pajamas. And y'all, oh goodness, hold the camera off. I love vintage pajamas, and this is definitely a vintage set. So it said it was a size large, and I'm like, good, because even though I know the pants will be too big, I like a nice roomy top. I don't want anything binding. Y'all, this thing is hilarious. Me and 3 other people could fit in it. It is absolutely huge. And the pants, well, I won't show you. I have to roll them up like 7 times to make them tight enough to stay on. But it's honestly one of my most favorite pairs of pajamas because they're super comfortable. So, sounds like I got a little something on the burner. I'm gonna go get a shower, let this do its thing, come back without glasses and maybe with a little makeup on, and actually brush my hair. And we'll get to making and canning this soup. Now, what I want to say is, let's say you don't want to can. You don't have to can it. You would simply need to refrigerate it or freeze it. You could do either thing once it is fully cooked. It does make a lot, so you could certainly cut it in half. This makes about 7 quarts of soup, which is equivalent to 28 cups of soup. And if you think a cup is a serving, you're gonna have 28 servings. One of my goals is to really put some things on the pantry shelf. I am going to be doing some pantry organization and inventory in preparation for winter, and trying to do no grocery shopping for several months, deplete my stock, but yet I may have a few things I need to add to the shelf. I am almost out of my ranch black beans, but I have the ingredients to can those, so I don't know if I'll get to that today, but I'll see you in a few when I'm in my right mind and dressed. Stay tuned. All right, y'all, I'm clean and chickens are taken care of. It is 7:26, and let's get going on this south of the border chicken soup. So I did simmer my chicken breast in the onion broth, and then I shredded them up into appropriate size pieces for a soup. The next thing we want to do is add all the ingredients except the chicken to the pot, because we don't want our chicken to be just mush. Mine are cooked through, but they're not overcooked. So I am not going to do anything, excuse me, to the broth in the pot because the chicken breast had no skin or fat on it, so there's really nothing to skim off. So first thing I'm going to do is add a whole bunch of my home canned goodies to this soup pot. So when folks ask me, why do you get all that trouble to grow food? Just go to the store and buy it. Well, yes, you can do that as well, but I really enjoy growing my food organically, even though you can buy organic food, but I know exactly what went into it and that it's safe and sanitary. So I've used a quart of onion broth. I have 2 chicken broths here. I have 2 quarts of my canned tomatoes, 2 quarts of my canned ranch black beans. Now the black beans were organic from Azure, so I did not grow them, but I grew the tomatoes and some of the other ingredients we're gonna add. So step 1 is I'm gonna add the broth. Oh my goodness, that seals well. And I always smell everything as part of my safety checks, right? Now, these are 3/4 quarts. It is what I'm going to be canning in, even though I will process them as quarts on time. So I may have to add some more. I just want to see how it looks. And also some of my broth cooked out, you know, steamed out, so it reduced. Sorry guys, this kitchen is so tight with you hear me hitting the island? That's why I'd moved it out. I had permanent bruises. So next I am going to add my tomatoes. Guys, that smells like summer. And I cold packed my tomatoes, so I may have to kind of chop those in the actual pot. So this is all in its natural juice, no water added. I do put a little salt and a little citric acid in my tomatoes. So I am not going to follow the salt directions until we cook this up. Let me turn this a little bit and see how it tastes. All right. Next, it calls for 2 cans of kidney beans. Y'all, I'm not going to use kidney beans. If it's south of the border, we need to use black beans. I only have 1 jar of this left, so I have added to my Azure order this month that comes at the 1st of January for more black beans, because these are absolutely delicious. And I don't know if I've ever done a video on it, but I've got a lot of winter canning left to do. I do can year round. I tend to can things, of course, that I'm not growing in the winter time. Sorry, I'll get it out. We're running out of room here. So it does call for 2 15-ounce cans, jars, whatsoever of, I always have trouble getting these things open, goodness, of beans. And you could use kidney beans if you want. One of the reasons I wanted to use my ranch black beans is it already has a lot of good south of the border spices like cumin, etc. Our soup is looking beautiful. I'll show you here in just a minute. Now, in this bowl, I have already pre-chopped everything, so y'all didn't have to watch it. So I have 1.5 cups. I did more like 2 of carrots. It called for 2 cups of celery. I only did maybe a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup. And then, where did I put that? I actually chopped up a large onion. Let me scoot you guys back. And put in there because I thought the soup needed onion, quite frankly. Y'all, here's a good tip for you. Save your clean onion peels or skins, whatever you want to call them, because they make a great addition to broth. Just make sure they're good and clean. And then it calls for 4 to 6 jalapeno peppers. These are my freeze-dried jalapenos. And let me show you. The texture is kind of like styrofoam. So I did have the forethought to just put them in some water to rehydrate them. And I diced those up and added them. So, you know, I was able to home grow my tomatoes, my jalapenos. I think that's it. I do have homegrown carrots and onion. Well, I've used up all my onions, and I gave my son all the garlic. All right. Then the last ingredient you see in this bowl is 3 cups of corn, and it is frozen corn. As y'all remember, the deer ate all my corn. Oh, I won't be trying that again. I just can't. I can't keep the birds out of it either. Oh, this looks like such a beautiful soup. So now let's spice it up a little bit. Let me show you what it looks like. How beautiful is that, right? So we need to add a teaspoon of cumin. And like I said, I'm trying not to make this blow everybody up hot. I would put like a whole jar of jalapenos, but for gifting, it's not going to be satisfactory. So there's a teaspoon of cumin. Calls for a tablespoon of salt. I'm going to hold off on the salt because there's, in my canned tomatoes, there's salt. In the ranch black beans, there's salt. I don't want it to be over salty, especially because I'm gifting it, and you can always add salt. And then it calls for 3 cloves of garlic. As I shared, I gave my son the garlic. I did plant some winter garlic, so it's in the ground. So I'm going to do like a heaping tablespoon of the minced garlic from Walmart, the Great Value brand. So what it says is, in a large pot, bring all ingredients except the cooked chicken to a boil, cover and simmer for 5 minutes. So what do we have in here? Let me just repeat it in case you don't have the book. I have 1.5 cups of carrots. It calls for 2 cups of celery. I'll just read the recipe. 6 cups of tomatoes, 4 to 6 jalapeno peppers, diced, 2 cans of kidney beans, 15 ounce, which I use the ranch black beans, 12 cups of chicken broth. Mine is a combination of onion and chicken. 3 cups of corn, fresh or frozen, 1 teaspoon ground cumin, 3 cloves of garlic, and 1 tablespoon of salt, which I have not added. So you don't put your chicken in yet. Where is my lid? So what? Ow. Oh, now on my back. I'm going to go ahead and cover it. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit, get it up to temperature. That's a lot of ingredients, and the corn was frozen. Let it kind of rock and roll for a few minutes. And then I've got all my Christmas recipes over here, y'all. Trying to get ready for Christmas. Oh my goodness. Then I will bring you back. I'm getting the canner and my canning station set up while this cooks. We will add the chicken. It's probably room temperature now. We'll let it just heat through, and then we will be ready to fill jars. So I've got to wash a couple jars because I'm gonna reuse those 3/4 pints. So stay tuned. We have been simmering for 5 minutes, and I did taste it. So I want to let you know it so needed salt. So I did add the tablespoon of salt. And y'all, if this is south of the border, it needs to have some heat, in my opinion. So since I didn't put the seeds of the jalapeno in it, just the flesh, so to speak, I added a teaspoon. I did it in small increments and kept retasting of the cayenne pepper. I have to use this up before I can get into my homegrown cayenne, pardon me, that I freeze-dried and powdered. So let's go ahead and add our meat to this nice hot mixture. And we'll give that a stir. Looks beautiful. That looks kind of a big cayenne or jalapeno that didn't get cut. So let me take care of that. It's cut, but it didn't cut all the way through, and I don't want big pieces in there. Don't want to blow somebody up. Wouldn't bother me, but I like hot. So let's grab a tasting spoon. And y'all, I just realized I forgot I'm not using my microphone, so I'll do better. But let's give it one final taste. And I'm just tasting the broth because the veggies aren't cooked through. Absolutely perfect. That is one delicious, 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 delicious soup. So I'm thinking you could add like some canned green chilies. I don't have any of those. So yeah, I didn't use those, but you know, spice it to your taste. One of the things about canning, you don't want to change things like vinegar or acids, like if you're adding lemon juice or citric acid. You don't want to add dairy to it. You know, you need to follow the recipe, but things that are safe to can, you can add. So like spices, salt, even more veg or less veg. That's not going to impact the safety of your canning. So I am using my Presto Precise electric canner. I've shown it to y'all many times, so I'm not going to go through it. I filled it with the 3 quarts of water. I put a splash of white vinegar in to help with my hard water. You fill the jars halfway full with water. I am using the tall 3/4 pints. I was able to get 7 3/4 pints in. Now that's not going to do it. So I may just cook the remainder of the soup because there should be some left over to eat for myself and not go ahead and pressure can that. We'll see. I may run two cycles. I set the canner for 90 minutes. It's on warm right now. So let's go over to the canning station. This should be totally heated through, and we'll get to jarring up our south of the border chicken soup.
All right, so I have my canning station set up. I kind of do it the same way every time. I like to have an extra jar that put the funnel on in between jar filling. The canner has warmed these jars for me. Of course, they're washed and clean. I have my lids here and my vinegar to wipe the rims. So let's give this a good stir. We want to fill with a 1-inch headspace. So this is going to be a beautiful soup. One thing about canning soup is you have to, let me say, be aware of or be careful of getting the right amount of liquid, but so each of them are, appropriate in the distribution, and you don't end up at the end with all broth or all ingredients. How pretty is that going to be? So I filled it to the bottom of the band, which is the 1-inch mark. I am going to go ahead and debubble. I know it's a soup. However, it does have a lot of ingredients in it, so there's a possibility there could be some air bubbles. And then I'm going to take my paper towel, wipe the rim really well. There is no need anymore to soak lids. I just do it because I think it softens up that rubber on the seal, and I think it just makes for a better canning experience. I am using, y'all, 4 jars canning lids. I've never had a seal failure with 4 jars. I really do admire that company. I think it is a great company. I do not have the discount code for 10% off. I would direct you over to maybe 3 Rivers Homestead or Homestead Tessie. If you want a discount code, look in the description box of one of their videos. That would be my suggestion to you. So many people had the discount code. I just haven't bothered, quite honestly, to contact them to get a code for y'all. And it's a 10% off code. They had, didn't debubble, they had a huge Black Friday sale. Guys, I stocked up because first and foremost, I absolutely love to can. So to me, this is not a chore. This is so fun. It is so rewarding to see all these jars on your shelf to feed your friends, family, and yourself with healthy food. All right, I'm going to continue to fill. I will let you know how much I get. Stay tuned. So as you see in the canner, I have 7 3/4 pints. I'll show you in a second what I had left over. We're going to put the lid on, close the lever, latch it, hit the enter key, and it's going to start heating. It will automatically vent, and it will beep and tell you when to put the, oh, pardon my hand, jiggler back on. Guys, I did put on my microphone. I hope the audio is better. And I wanted to point out, in case you hadn't seen or didn't notice, I bought this shirt last year, and I cannot remember. I think it was Etsy. But this is the Starry-Eyed Santa. So I just thought it was so mid-century fab. I had to have it. And what do I have left over? Well, let me share that with you. I'm going to say there's a little better than a quart left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to simmer and cook that for myself. Oops, I keep forgetting and hitting the mic. I've washed up some of the quart jars. I will dish it up in quart jars because I want to eat it. But this gives me 7 jars that I can put on my shelf or gift or whatever. So I will bring you back when we're all finished for some final thoughts. Also having a bowl of this delicious soup once it's cooked through and I can taste all the ingredients. So stay tuned. I just wanted to share with you, let me move this just a little bit. What the canner looks like. So it says pressure can, and I set it for 90 minutes, and I couldn't remember if I told you that. So even though they're 3/4 quarts, I'm processing them at quarts. If you're only doing pints, it would be 75 minutes. But you can see it says over here pressure can. If you're water bath canning, this lights up. It's still venting. See the little symbol? symbol. And it's counting down 10 minutes. So once it says, put on the regulator, I would not leave the house. That's just me. I wouldn't go to bed. But today I have some upstairs cleaning to do. So, pardon my hand, I am going to go do that. I think it will be fine. I will check on it. And then after thinking about it, I thought, I've got all my pressure canning things out. I'm going to do the black beans. So I'm not going to put that in this video because it gets too long. Drop me a comment below if you want to see pressure canning black beans. I will tell you that I will totally give credit for the recipe and the method, which is not USDA approved. I think it's perfectly safe. I've done it for years. I will give the credit to Homestead Tessie. So go over and give her channel a view. Yeah, she has 2 channels. She has Homestead Tessie, and then she has Tessie's Life and Product Reviews. Homestead Tessie is Monday through Saturday, so she's taking a break from her Sundays, and it's kind of homesteading type life. She is very much into simple living and has some Amish culture type situation. I don't know how to quite explain that. Then her other channel is kind of variety. She will do a project maybe with a product review, or share maybe a Thrifty Thursday where she shops. So her videos are short. They're like 10 minutes. She's not the talker I am. I'm not a big talker, but when I get teaching, I talk. That's for sure. So yeah, give her channel a view, I'm sure, and tell her Kym from the Wellness Homesteader sent you. She has helped my channel so much, and I thank you, Miss Tessie, if you're watching. All right, I'm gonna let this do its thing. I will bring you back. I've got my soup simmering here that I'm going to jar up. I'll bring you back when they're out of the canner, and we'll give a taste test to the stuff that I'm just heating through cooking. I'm going to let it simmer for about 30 minutes, and I'll see how the veg is then. If it's nice and soft, it may take a little bit longer than that, and let you know how much additional that I got, give you some final words. So I hope you've enjoyed it so far, but don't go away. I'll be back just real soon. Y'all, I'm taking a little break, and Frankie kind of shares the recliner with me, but listen to him snore. All right, y'all, it's 11:30. Ooh, and all is well. If you notice, I was trying to film so it won't show. I am wearing a brace. I actually have a prescription brace that comes way up and way down from my back surgeries. I decided to order myself an easier brace. So after doing the research, I found a waist trainer, and I'll leave a link in the description box in case anyone's interested. And y'all, I have to tell you, it's really helping. If you're new to my channel and you're wondering why the talk about, my back, etc., I have a sizable pelvis fracture that has reopened, and it's, making my body uneven and pulling on some of the hardware in my back. So I've been pretty miserable, but I'm still going, guys, and I'm gonna be ready for Christmas. So are you ready? Don't look in the background. We got the TV on pause. I got 7 3/4 pints
a whole quart and a quarter quart. Now, if you remember when I was putting the broth in, I used 2 3/4 quarts. So that made me short 2 cups. So you would get 7 full quarts out of this. So the recipe is very, very accurate. I find with the ball book, it never comes out with the right amounts, but with the Amish canning cookbook, which I think I already put away, at any rate, it comes out correctly. So I also, over here, wanted to show you, I made some beautiful fermented ketchup. I decided, since my kitchen was a mess, I'm not cleaning the kitchen till a little closer to Christmas. My son is coming home, so I want everything, impeccable. Did get the upstairs done, guys. But I wanted to make him some fermented ketchup. I will leave a link at the end to the video where I make this. It is not my recipe. It came from Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. But let me tell you all, this is amazing ketchup. And I am a ketchup snob, as is my child. So I wanted him to get, to try it. He wants to try it. And I'm going to try to do a video short that won't be, or a short video that won't be very long, just to share with you the gift basket, as that will be one of my son's gifts. So my son will be 38 next month. He's still my little boy and he is my only child. And, it gets harder as we get older to get gifts. And I do have quite a few different gifts for him, but they're small. So Mom, wrote a little check and put it in his card that I made. I make him one every year. He would be highly disappointed if I didn't. But one of the things I have always done for many, many years is I have made him something. Whether I've made him a quilt, crocheted him, like a heavy blanket. I've done all sorts of different things. He would be highly disappointed if he didn't have something that I made. So I have created him a big basket of a whole bunch of my homemade goodies plus some purchased products from Azure. So speaking of Azure, let me tell you this. Y'all, this tomato paste is 100% organic, bio natura, I think is the way it's said, or bio nature, I'm not sure. It's no salt added tomato paste. It's 7 ounces. Don't throw away this jar. It is a button top jar that I just sealed. I'm soaking the labels off. They come off, well, this has only been in the hot water a short time. They do come off pretty nicely. Okay, I can't help myself. I love to peel things. And, wash them, put them in your canning jar storage. While they're only 7-ounce jars, so they're half pint, they make great jelly jars, so don't get rid of them, or condiment jars of any sort, or just storage jars if you're not a canner. So yeah, I've got this done. And then over here, I am getting ready to, I'm not going to film this, I'm getting ready to can my ranch black beans. I figured as long as I had drug out the canner and all of the things, see my art of leaning, I might as well go ahead and can the beans because they're super simple. And I only have 1 can, and if I want to make a big batch of chili, I won't even have enough beans for that. All right, so y'all, it's 5 days to Christmas when I'm filming this. You will see this on the 22nd, so it will only be 3 days to Christmas. I just want to encourage you all. The reason for the season is not gifts. It is not Santa Claus. And even though I have a Santa Claus mug collection, Jesus is the reason for the season. Don't forget that. Don't forget to thank him for his beautiful and wonderful gift. I have some videos planned yet this week. I have a super fun one. I was going to do it today, but then I realized I needed to do the ketchup. The ketchup has to sit on the counter because it's a fermented ketchup for 3 days. And I don't want to, and then you can refrigerate it. I don't want to butt right up against Christmas. Plus, I need the soup to take a meal to my friend, Miss Nancy. So I kind of switched it up. I was going to do a Throwback Thursday. You won't want to miss Saturday's video. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's actually going to be something you might want to do for Christmas because it's super simple and it's made with, it is from the kitchen, some ingredients I'm sure you will have on hand. The other thing I wanted to share with you just quickly, and y'all, I'm not doing product reviews and I don't sell things, but when I find a product that helps me, whether it's a waist trainer, and I am kind of praying. Let me show you this. It does, well, you can't really see. It cinch, there you go, you can see. It really does cinch in your waist, which at 61 and chubby, I'll take all the help I can get. Now, it'll probably explode like the Michelin Man when I take it off. However, you know, I know people use those like Kim Kardashian. Not that I know anything about the Kardashians. Anyway, let me share this with you. I purchased this to-do planner from Amazon, so I will leave a link. I'm not sure of the brand. It looks like Zakoto to me, but it might be Zictu. I'm not real sure. Not real good at pronouncing things like that. And I'll just give you a quick inside look. Let me go way forward because I live for this planner. So what I love about it is it has a place up top. Every day you can write something you're grateful for. Then it has a must do and then a to do. So if you can get your must do's done, then you switch to your to do's. Notes and stuff, appointments, if you want to track your meals, your hydration, your health and fitness goals, medications, whatever. Y'all, this keeps me organized. And as a nurse, I always had a to-do list for my patients when I was doing direct care. When I switched over to administration, I always had projects to do. So as we count down to Christmas, you know, I want to encourage you, make a list, prioritize it, figure out the things you really, really need to do and just the things you want to do. And, you know, it's all about making the memories. It's not about the gifts. It's not about even the food, even though I love food. It's about spending time together with the ones you love and remembering the reason for the season. So before I get preaching, hallelujah. Ooh, you know what? It hurts when I laugh, and that's a real bummer because I like to laugh. At any rate, I will see you all on Saturday. If I get the short video done, I'm going to slide it in between Thursday and Saturday, which would be Friday. Hello, Kym. Or maybe Sunday. I'll just see how time goes because I got to get Ken in here. So until I see you again, please do me a big favor. There's a lot of new subscribers. Y'all smash that like button. If you are on the television and you're like, well, I can't comment, and I don't blame you on that, you know, searching through the ABCs, I wouldn't do that either. But if you hit the up button, it will go to the channel description. If you hit the right button, it will go over to the like. All you have to do is then hit enter and you can like a video. There's a lot of you that watch and I don't get as many comments or likes, and that's okay. But it really helps my channel, y'all. The participation and the engagement is really what helps the algorithm, and it helps YouTube know to share my video. So at any rate, you all smash that like button. Leave me a comment below. What do you think of this chicken? Well, I've already forgotten what it's called. Spicy chicken soup. I'm going to make up a new name for it. I'd really like to hear from you. If you have any tips and tricks for getting ready for Christmas, drop those as well. We'd all love to hear it. I can pin comments and we can all share in the good information. So until I see you again, be healthy, be well, be blessed. Take care.